Welcome to Bropostles, the only podcast where we take our faith seriously but not ourselves. Patrick, we got a big guest, big friend of the podcast.
This is probably the biggest guest we ever had on the podcast now.
Yes. Each time he's been on, it's been the biggest guest of the podcast.
Yeah.
It's just successively getting larger and larger.
Boys,
James, welcome to the show. Thanks for coming back.
Thank you for having me back.
It's so good to see you again.
Yes. I was thinking, I was reflecting deeply in the 4 weeks that I've had to prepare for this podcast because of the...
It's my bad.
It's all good.
It's my bad.
When we first had you on, you still lived in Australia. And when we second had you on, you had just moved to Steubenville. Yes. And when we third had you on, you had just moved to Austin. And now you're starting your biggest American tour. I just want to say, how much of a piece are you going to break off for us?
Does Papa get a piece?
Does Papa get a piece?
We get what we need. Knock and the door shall be open. You let me know what you need.
I like. That's what I like to hear.
I know what I need is enough money to pay my damn taxes. I was not saving.
Yeah, I bet.
You need to purchase some real estate and do some cost segregation analysis so you can write off some of that income.
Yeah, one way to get ahead in America is segregation. That's what I've always said.
Come on.
What?
I don't know, fellas. We're all having a good time here.
That's
a black Santa.
It's Carrot Top. Welcome Carrot Top to the show.
Look at that. What's that?
What's that? Dewey Reams. That's a Dewey Reams.
We're rocking
Bible.
with the Dewey Reams now. No more of this NIV stuff.
No,
not at all.
Oh, God,
I want my ultramontanist French Bible. I don't want any international socialist Bibles.
Well, man, I will say of the gifts. If you can tell, I've gotten to the point with the faith where I can pick the ideology of the Catholic bookstore real fast.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah. There's a bookshop. There's a Catholic bookstore in downtown Melbourne.
Yeah.
My Melbourne. There's a book. It's actually gone now. But I walked in and I was trying to buy a scapular, and the lady looked at me. It was a Catholic bookstore, and she goes, "What's a scapular?" And I was this is the wrong store for me.
See, then you go to another store, and it's you walk in, and front and center they've got the Jews and their lies, and you go, "Hold on,
maybe I'm home."
Yeah.
No, I think you can look at the ratio of statues to books. If it's way more books than statues, you're probably in the right place.
Correct.
If there's far too many
Hispanic is a curveball. Hispanic is a curveball.
That's a good point.
Down here in the South,
they do love.
We love quality. I mean, how much gold is in these rosaries? Number of medals. I've been to a couple places. Wow, the medal game. I was in California, and we were at Carmel by the Sea. And you're going to maybe remember the name of the saint before I do. Saint Juan Pedro? That seems racist. That seems like not correct.
That seems like a J.K. Rowling saint. You know.
See, hold on, Saint. If I get that right. Anyway,
Jose
the gift shop was
Del Rio.
No, that can't be it. What was he? What did he do? What was he known for?
Juan Diego Guadalupe.
He was, I don't think it's Juan Pedro, but I think he got in with the natives, and I think that Junipero Serra.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah. We're there.
He was good to the
him.
natives.
They don't like him over there in California anymore.
No.
He's in the statuary in the Capitol, but
he's a colonizer.
Yeah. They don't like that he converted the natives. They don't like it.
Well, I think these natives were being treated pretty badly by the other natives. Can we say natives?
Yeah.
Yeah, the natives.
Yeah, I think that's what you can say now. Yeah.
It's a beautiful place. It's a beautiful place. In Australia?
Call them natives in Australia? No, they're aboriginals.
Is that like saying colored in America? You can't say natives?
Yeah. It's the other N word.
Let me tell you, that would also be bad in Australia. If you say anything other than the greatest human beings ever to live, you're in big trouble.
How big is the haka over there? I know that's not Australia, but does that spill over the No.
We resent it because our great rugby rivalry is with the New Zealanders, and they haka at us. And we haven't gotten to the point of racial harmony where we've begun doing an Aboriginal dance.
Yeah.
We've got the emu. We've got you saw the ray gun doing the kangaroo. That was big from the 1980s onwards. As white people tried to give Aboriginal people Black American culture as their own, and they brought in sort of rap dancing.
I've always said the real melting pot was Australia. Just a real.
America is in no sense a melting pot.
Absolutely, you're correct. You're absolutely correct. Yeah.
Hold on, we broke up slightly, but I don't understand. We melt. We melt. Yeah. You guys, wow, there's so little melting. I mean, the Italians who've been here for 8 generations are still
absolutely.
Italian.
Absolutely. I mean, like Teddy Roosevelt in like the turn of the century was like, we need no more hyphenated Americans. And I'm like, Ted, we still have that now.
Ted,
it didn't go away. Now. It's even worse. Yeah. You could live your life here for 20 years and never speak English. You could do it if you wanted to.
Many people do.
Yeah.
We've been to so many Hispanic churches out in I think so. We continued looking for churches to go to since we last spoke.
Yeah.
And we landed for a good long while at the Maronites.
Okay.
And Lebanese.
Yes.
But boy, some of the Hispanic. Not long ago, I went to try and go to confession and they weren't having it. Or if they were having it, the priest was too busy in the adoration to and it felt wrong to like tug on his robe. I know you meant to. Yeah. I know there's a whole thing about that, but I didn't want to disturb this man deep in prayer. And there were a bunch of us trying to confess. But I tell you, there was a guitar. There was a Spanish church guitar during the adoration, and like a folk song. It was good. I've never heard a guitar in a church before that didn't make me very unhappy. But this was
They
earthy.
do kind of bring it. The Spanish guitar, they did perfect it. It's because they do all
It made sense. It was wholesome. It was positive. It didn't feel like there was any rocking and a rolling. It felt like we were in, a desert town on the frontier.
Yeah,
a mule. I'd come in on a mule or something.
Yes.
I like the Hispanic church. It's so different. I don't know. You know what's good news is the trads might get left alone.
Yeah.
You guys won't necessarily take this as great news the way that I'll take this, but early signs of this pontificate point to I'll stay off of your back if you stay off of mine.
That's what we need.
Kind of a libertarian pope.
Yeah, man. The trads are in, since Catholicism is like 50 years behind the 8 ball. The trads are finally getting to the point that conservatives were at in the mid 90s. So it was like, we just want to be left alone with our land. We're gonna build a compound and it's gonna be okay.
Well, culturally they were there, but politically
that was not the case. Yeah.
No, politically that's Pat Buchanan starts to really throw some heavy hitters.
Yeah, man.
And contract with America. Newt. I'm trying to get Newt on the pod.
Gingrich?
Yeah.
Whoa.
I think you do it.
I think there's a chance I can get Newt.
Yeah.
You got to get Newt.
Clarence Thomas is my number one still.
That's your number one? Out of all podcast guests possible is Clarence Thomas.
Or just in the political realm.
In the political realm.
No. I think in general.
Yeah.
In general,
I can't think of who they could offer
Clarence.
Instead of Clarence. No, Clarence.
It's got to be Clarence.
Wouldn't you want Clarence? Wouldn't he seems fun. He's a black nationalist. Secretly.
I could see how you guys might get along.
I think if we got Clarence Thomas on our podcast, we would say, hey, we're interviewing Clarence Thomas. And most people would say, who? Not because they don't know who Clarence Thomas is, but because they would assume we couldn't possibly mean that Clarence Thomas.
Yeah.
I think we have to treat everybody as gettable. Amy Comey Barrett, where you at? Come on the pod. I don't know if would you have. Is Nancy Pelosi still practicing?
She's alive.
Practicing what?
If that's what you mean. She's trading stocks. She's got a lot going on.
Yeah, she's been blessed financially.
I did shoot my shot with getting Milo Yiannopoulos on the podcast.
You sent him a DM?
I did. We follow each other on X, and he's like, I'm coming out of retirement. And I DM'd him. I was like, hey, since you're coming out of retirement, would you like to come on a podcast with 10,000 listeners? I know, it's too tempting, but I'll make some time. I think it'd be fun. I want to talk to that guy.
How would you feel with currently the leading Pied Piper of young men, especially in this sadly post Charlie Kirk era, but would you draw the line at a Nick Fuentes, or would you say we could have a productive discussion?
Would love to have a conversation with Nick Fuentes. I'm not a groiper by any stretch of the imagination.
You don't groip.
I don't. I try not to. I mean, in the confines of marriage, it's very difficult to groip without committing some type of sin. And I think if he was open to a legitimate conversation and took it seriously, which who knows if he would, I think we could have a great.
I would the opposite.
Or if we just had a great time. If we were just
you'd be willing
around,
to come on and not take it seriously, I'd also be okay.
Yes, because I think we could go to where he is. I think it'd be very difficult for him to come down to where we are.
He's trying. He's trying to do a sort of a unity ticket now.
Yeah,
I saw him
talking about Matt Walsh earlier today about how he was genuinely touched and was commending Matt Walsh as a man of high character for defending him. And I'm pretty sure that's the first positive thing he's ever said about anybody else.
That's not him,
in a long time. So
let's see where this goes. America's at the precipice of
something's happening.
James, maybe you throw your hat in the ring. Maybe we need an outsider to come in to heal the much like a Octavian, to kind of heal the Civil War, and to unite the tribes. You don't want
to talk politics. You don't want to talk about politics?
Of course I don't think. They do very well. Financially, they do very well, these people.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
And it seems like the worst job ever.
Yeah. Because you got it, Charlie Kirk gets killed, and I'm just reeling from it. And imagine it's your job to have an opinion on this right now. Like, you have to come and you have to stick to it, and it has to be right, and you have to say it right now. What's your opinion?
I mean, I had to say something. I felt like I had to address it on my podcast, and all I could do is go, "Oh."
It's very funny to be in a closet talking about Charlie Kirk, and then 5 minutes later holding up a T-shirt of Oprah Winfrey or whatever it was.
I tried to be as respectful as I could. I feel I didn't want to be flippant, but also other than spending 30 minutes on mic going, what has become of this nation? Also, I've got a take for the stage that I'll burn now, but I'm doing it on the stage.
Nobody's listening.
Oh, don't worry. This is
you're not burning it.
You're fine.
Going to be fine.
It is burning it. You've got committed listeners, and I have the biggest percentage
I'm sure they
bump.
Would love to hear it again.
The biggest percentage bump I ever got was coming off on this podcast. My podcast, not in terms
of when.
Gross numbers. The first podcast appearance, the bump, no one else has taken me from where I was to so far, in another.
Oh, sure.
In another level.
Got it.
So I know you've got people. I know you've got listeners. They're committed. I know it.
I know they're there.
I just really believe that going on Matt and Shane's secret podcast is a bigger bump, almost guaranteed, than coming on our show.
In terms of sheer numbers, sure. But the podcast was so unsuccessful before coming on yours that really, I mean, maybe we're looking at 10 times bigger, 15, 20 times bigger. We may have gotten 21 times bigger.
Genuinely, how was the post Rogan bump? What did that do to the pod?
It wasn't huge. It was modest. I think the overlap with Kill Tony people was quite big. What was a big bump was people coming out of the. Also, I don't think I did very well, but the people coming out of the woodworks to go, brother, Rogan, brother. Do you know what I mean? A lot of that.
Oh, like people
pumping
from
me
your
up.
past, like
people who I hadn't heard from in a long time.
Yeah. I don't think that was your fault that you didn't do well on Rogan. I think it was Joe's fault because he was.
No.
Well, I know you can't say that.
I was terrified. No, I would say that anyway. I was having liquid bowels.
Yeah.
For a good week, and I actually thought on the drive to the studio, I thought if this hasn't cleared up after the podcast, I am going to get a colonoscopy, and then it did. But I was ready to die. I thought I was dying.
But even though you were dying, he wasn't listening to you. And I know he's your friend. I'm not trying to be mean, but there were so many things that you said that were very funny and very witty that he was like staring off at the screen, reading about hyenas eating each other or something.
Well, the hyenas are interesting, but Joe remains a mystery, and I think that's why he's managed to do so well.
Yeah.
There are many reasons, but there are things he doesn't know where you go, I'm sure you should know about that.
Yeah.
You know? And then there are things that he does know where you go, how could you possibly know that? I'm to this day, I don't know how much time we spent together. I cannot predict what he'll know and what he yeah.
Huh.
He's
Do you think he just forgets a lot because of the
No,
head trauma?
think he didn't. I think he didn't have. First of all, I've seen the fighters' heads who come in, and I think he has minimal scar tissue of the head. I don't know how many times he was knocked out, but I wouldn't suspect it was that many. I think he didn't have a classical education. So if you're really interested in Egypt, there are certain things that you will just have to know about Egypt because that's how Egypt is taught. You'll know about, Akhenaten and this kingdom and that kingdom and the unification and the sea people. You'll get the big beats.
Yeah.
But then there are certain things that don't fit within that narrative, that glaringly don't fit within that narrative, and that there is, people get very upset about, and that they don't have a good answer for, that he is across. And I think this is important to have a dialogue between, the academic and the avidist, the person who's really interested, of respect. Because I'll tell you, look, I'll drag it back to the church in a heartbeat.
Absolutely.
I just the Orthodox are very clear on the forms in which we may partake of the Eucharist. They mix them together, and I know we say, and we've done our Latinate thinking, that it is impossible to have the body without blood and impossible to have the blood without the body. But the verbal instruction, if we look at Dewey Ream's Bible, is 2 acts: eat my flesh and drink my blood. And then we.
So you're
maybe we
pro
take it for
both
granted.
species. Yeah.
I would never, ever, ever take both species. I am so committed to when they have that lady up there with the chalice. I frown at her. I frown. Unless you have such a gluten intolerance that it is impossible for you, I don't think any of us should be partaking in that. But I mean to say, it does require the church did not have a good working defense on that, and that's where the Protestant Reformation got in through the Hussites, that we weren't ready to defend that case. And even then, we've given up on that lickety-split.
To what you said about the academic and the avidist, I don't know what the word would be, but
enthusiast. Enthusiast is the word I was looking for.
I've come across that with I have like formal theology education, and I see this lesson myself because I think my years in youth ministry and my years it's just I'm kind of like I'm used to people not knowing what I know, but I see this in theology people that it's like they get very upset and almost. I don't know. They get kind of they gatekeep with this guy he hasn't read, you haven't read the jokes, you haven't read Artheoporix of Egypt's dissertation on the 2 forms. No, I haven't. And so people get like that. Academics get like that, and then it's I want to see these people that are I'm getting into theology for the first time, and I really like Scott Hahn. It's hell yeah, man, you like Scott Hahn? That's cool. I know him. That's
you like Scott Hahn? I'm going to introduce you to Andrew Willard Jones, and I think you're going to love him too.
You're gonna love him. You're gonna love it. Yeah, man. That's so. Yeah,
I turn my zins over.
No, no problem.
Boy, it's great to be here.
No, it's wonderful to be here. There's so many thoughts running through my head.
We're having a good time, aren't we, folks? All right.
We're having a great time. So there's so many things. Speaking of James being unsuccessful, something that I didn't know I was listening to, first of all, it's great that you have an agent because I can see the podcasts all rolling out at the same time. And it's like, okay, this was coordinated by someone, which is really exciting. No? You booked all those yourself?
I did that. I wrote it down on a piece of paper.
Let's freaking go. That was amazing.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the agent only handles like shows. Right?
I thought you were getting booked on all these shows. And I'm like, holy cow, he's really doing it.
I thought people, you know what? I thought people would do that for me as well. And then that's not actually part of their bailiwick. So I had to.
People
that's
don't,
crazy.
People don't do
You'd
that
think with
unless you
comedy,
pay them
especially because of how big podcasting is in comedy, it would be such
It's the Wild Wild West. It's the Wild Wild West. Do you know who books Joe Rogan?
Who books Joe Rogan?
Joe Rogan.
He sends out a text.
Well, I mean, yeah.
No, but they all, everybody.
He said on a show, if you need a personal assistant to do something, it means you're doing too many things. Stop doing things and do it all yourself.
Well, an agent is different than a personal assistant because the idea is that there's scheduling and all these other things that have to be managed outside of just, I want to do this and you want to do this.
Maybe they're doing that in old-fashioned show business turned podcasting. I'm sure Conan has a person. I bet even,
Clarence Thomas above Conan is crazy, by the way, just so you know.
Well,
Conan's got to be number one.
I hope that Conan happens on its own in time.
Yeah.
But there is a point of success where you're allowed to do Conan. There's no point of success where you just automatically, it makes sense for Clarence Thomas to come on the podcast. No, he has to want it.
That's
he has to want. I want him to want it.
On a personal note, I love hearing you talk to comedians. That's my all-time favorite thing. I love hearing comedians talk. Except for in cars getting coffee. I'm not a huge fan of that.
Oh, really?
It's
the Steve Harvey one is great, just so you know.
I like a few of them. I think
Steve would be good too. We'd like Steve.
Jerry Seinfeld as a person grates on me over time. But I like conversations. I like conversations between comedians. I love hearing you guys talk about like writing jokes and seeing like how bits come to be. I love that aspect of the podcast. If please have more comedians on.
I'm glad you say that because I always feel guilty doing that. I feel like it's inside baseball that interests nobody. But if you like it, I'll do another one.
For a popular comedian to talk to another popular comedian is inside baseball?
Well, they talk about the business.
Comedy specifically.
Oh, no, people love that stuff. The behind the scenes, because everyone... I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
So easy. No, I think you're right.
Everyone, because it's like it's like how people like hearing actors talk about show business. The process.
What I was going to say was that I was listening to one of the podcasts that you were on, and you were telling the story about how you opened for James. They're not James. You're James. How you opened for Shane.
Yeah.
In Australia. I didn't know that story. I thought you were so massively successful in Australia that it was just the natural pick for you to be the person that opened for Shane. I thought you were already so well known that he was like, yeah, pick that guy.
No,
I had no clue that it was just, can you just tell people don't know, you tell us.
No, sure. I mean, I had sort of stopped paying attention to stand-up comedy because I had a child. This was 7, 8, coming up on 8 years ago.
Is this your first child?
Yeah, she's. Yeah. Oh no, sorry. So she'll turn 7 soon.
Okay.
But I just thought that I'd been there for the woke thing. I'd been to comedy festivals. I'd seen the waves that were being promulgated on the people who were getting Netflix shows when they weren't people like Dave Chappelle. They were other people whose names I won't even bother with because no one remembers who they are. But people who stink. But had the right politics or complexion or inability to use their legs, and you hit a protected category, and that it felt like they were giving you something. And certainly in the ABC, which is our CBC, BBC, it's the big state. That's who you get a new show from. No interest whatsoever did I gauge. So I thought that's sort of it for comedy, and it's over for me. And this woke thing will be a boot stomping on the face of the body politic for 1,000 years. And my brother said, you got to come and see this guy. And I said, all right, fine. And I went along. I went to go and see the show. Someone I knew, a buddy, shout out Rudy Litarana, he was opening. I had left that manager because so little was happening for my career. The guy who booked it, anyway, booked someone else. And I asked Rudy, look, it would mean a lot to my brother. I thought I loved the show. And after the show, I said to my brother, I think I can get us in. I think Rudy's going to get us in to say hi. And he did. And I hit it off with Shane. And then in a moment of insanity, I said, can I open for you at a different city? I didn't have any money. We had a 1.5-year-old. We just fled Melbourne and the lockdown, and the country was opening up again. But I spent the only ticket that would get me to the show in time was like an $800 business class flight. Wow. And I think I borrowed money. I spent everything I had and borrowed money to go and do that show. And then, look, it went very well. I had a great time. It was nice to hang out. I ate all the sushi backstage and people made fun of me. But you wouldn't believe the extent to which afterwards people who were in the know, which I was not, were going, he got that? How did James get that? Very unsuccessful. Proudly unsuccessful.
Yeah.
And I love that.
And then was it just like one thing after the other from there? Because I guess once you have that relationship and that's locked in, you come to America, you see him in Philadelphia, and you go on the podcast. And is it just kind of just one step after a step after a step, or were there more big jumps that happened?
I was with a friend. I brought a friend to come and see that show in Melbourne. Yeah. And at the end of it, she said, look, that went well. I said, I think it went fine. She went, it actually went quite well. You should ask to go and stay with him in New York. You should say, if I'm in New York, can I stay with you? I was like, I think that's an overreach and that's wrong. And she said, do it. And I said, if I'm ever in New York, can I stay with you? I'd like to see America. And he said, sure, let me know if you're ever in New York. And so I booked a trip to New York just to go and but it was a transformative trip because that was what I went to. I landed in LA and then I went to Pittsburgh so I could go to Steubenville because I'd read New Polity and I wanted to go and see what was going on in Steubenville and if all the tales of urban ruin were true and urban revival, and both are. And then I went to New York.
When I bring up New Polity, so I'm very glad that you did.
All right, we can talk about that later.
What? Oh, you got a rift? You got a rift?
No, there's no rift. It's unity, the united front.
I'd love to hear about the rift.
It's not that I don't like. So it's not that I don't like New Polity.
In 2020, when New Polity was just starting out, I was introduced to them because a friend of mine who was working we worked at a publishing at.
Mark Barnes ghosted us for a podcast. Okay, that's the problem. He said he would come on. We showed up. Later. He ghosted us.
I met Jacob Imam in 2020 and learned about New Polity right before I started my master's degree, and I loved everything they talked about, and I read all their stuff, and I was a super fanboy. And
he's calling Mark.
Are you calling Mark Barnes right now?
We're putting the kids down, but let's
no shoddy answers.
That's so funny.
Sometimes he answers. He's a busy guy.
Mark Barnes. This is a very comedian thing to do on a podcast, by the way. Take a random phone call on the podcast.
Hey, James.
Mark, I'm doing I'm sorry to call so late.
That's all right.
I'm doing a podcast with they're called Bropostles now, but they used to be The Crunch. And there was a time when they wanted to have you on, but you're a very busy man. They used the word ghosted. But would you ever in the future go on their podcast?
Wait, who are these boys? I know these boys. This is ringing a bell. Were they Franciscan kids?
Patrick was.
I was.
Patrick was. Pat was.
Pat. Yeah, of course.
There we go.
All right.
There you go.
Mark, come on the podcast next week.
Let's see. Tomorrow's not good. When do they want to do it? What do they do?
We'll do next week.
They do it over Zoom.
We do Thursday. Do Thursday at 8:30.
I know.
If he wants to fly us out,
they
he's
don't
more than
find you
welcome.
in a hotel room and give you a handheld mic.
That's a reference to when I had Mark on and I gave him a handheld mic in a hotel room. I took a nap while he finished an essay. It was a good time. Mark, God bless. You're a busy man. You've got many children to look after in a community, but we'll talk soon properly.
That's the spirit. How's Taylor?
She's all right. She's up and about. Yeah. She's about to. We are on a podcast right now, I should say.
Well, listen, before you go, I met someone, just look, podcast schmodcast. I met someone who knows you, and that's the funnest thing about being in the Midwest, is just talking about mutual relations.
Ooh.
I forget. No. He's someone who is an architect whose house you stayed at, or maybe his friend's house in Dallas. and who likes you a lot, but like most people, likes your wife more than you.
Of course.
And his name,
Frank Lloyd Wright.
Sorry, Dallas architect.
Could it
maybe
have been
Austin?
It couldn't have been
Houston.
Houston poet.
I don't think he was a poet. Well, he might have been.
We'll talk. I think you've been on this podcast long enough now that it could be cited that you've been on the podcast.
I think it counts.
All right.
Yeah.
I like to fulfill obligations like this. This is amazing.
We'll talk very soon. I think Father Oleg is writing an article for you to pitch to you.
Well, he's seen me at my lowest. So.
Well, you could see him at his razor sharpest. God bless you. God bless you, Mark. Say hi to the fam. Yeah, sorry,
One day
it did go on longer than I expected.
No, it's
no
problem at all.
that
you did what with your hand in a hotel room? Anyway, Patrick.
Yes.
Before we start the podcast, I want to talk to you about something.
Okay, what is that?
I want to talk about the Freedom Group.
Okay, I
think they are single-handedly doing more for men who struggle with pornography than any other group that I'm aware of.
You mean talks? You mean talks? I don't know if that's a good thing to say, but you mean 45-minute talks about oxytocin aren't doing it?
I think we need more men getting up in front of high schoolers and talking about how hot and beautiful their wives are.
I think we need more men putting wigs on a high schooler and firemen carrying him across the stage. I think that's funny, and I think Jason Everett should keep doing that.
I've never seen this. I don't know if that's appropriate. The Freedom Group is a very the way that they help men is so human. It's so tied up in the actual psychology and the science of how your cravings work and how your addictions work. This works for pornography, which is mostly what they're targeting, but it also really works for any craving that a man is experiencing. You'd get a coach. You get to do it in community. You get walked through at your own pace. The best part is they get a free discovery call. So you can go to thefreedomgroup.co right now, and you can do a discovery call today, and they will set you up. You can even just go and talk to them, which is really cool. And I think everybody should do that. Patrick, what do you think?
And you get, like, the thing about the free coaching call is you get value out of the 30 minutes. Like, and it's even if you don't end up going with them, like, even if you don't end up using their whole service, you still get value out of the 30 minutes. So it's like zero risk. You know, so you can go to thefreedomgroup.co. You can take a free 3-minute assessment, schedule a 30-minute coaching call, and they will help you get free of the pornography that is chaining you and all of the things that you turn to when you're not watching pornography, like food or like TV or what's another good one?
Alcohol.
Alcohol. That's a good one. I kind of put that one under food, but I guess it is a beverage. Anyway, all that stuff, you go to thefreedomgroup.co.
Thank you to the Freedom Group for sponsoring this episode of Bropostles.
Anyway,
well, he came to see me in Pittsburgh, and I set up I didn't have any space. We were going to go back to Steubenville, and then the day went on for too long, and so we did the podcast in my hotel room.
That was a great episode, by the way. The conversation was people still talk about it in our Discord, at least.
Yeah,
so
I like Mark a lot. I haven't spent enough time with him.
Essentially, what happened was Patrick got really into New Polity, and this was the Andrew Willard Jones podcast for like 2 years. As we systematically worked through Church and State book that he wrote before Church and State. Yeah. So,
and then I got to take a class with him for my last year of my master's degree. I took a class on political philosophy with him, and I kind of made an ass of myself. It was very clear like I was the least smart person in the room. So
no, come on, I can see feeling intimidated because he is so butch in real life. His public media persona is much more light and fluffy than the man I met merely a handful of times.
Oh yeah, but, he's very direct to the point. He's very Well, he's a father of 9 kids. You kind of have to be. It's like put that away, put that down, stop that.
It's flown out of me. Goodwill is. I'm hemorrhaging goodwill and pleasantries.
With whom?
With the children. The more children I have,
I see.
The more. Do you know what I mean? I become hard. I become a harder, coarser person.
Yes. So you were telling us
it's going to be fine. It's going to be great.
And you did the urban revival.
Yeah.
And you went to New York.
Yeah. We had a hang.
Want to finish
to New York,
if
and
there's more story.
I had organized. Oh no, please. No, I mean, I had organized it so badly and so tenuous was my relationship with Shane that I arrived in New York without his address or even a firm commitment that I could do that. So, sweet Mark, who I'd met in Steubenville over the course of however long I was there, 4 days, he had said, "Look, if you need it, you can go and stay with Rusty Reno, the editor of First Things." And he wrote an email for me. That was crazy.
Oh my god,
that was mad. I got to walk around the First Things office. I got to meet Julia Yost. I made a big ass of myself. I said, "I think you're so incredible, Julia Yost." She was like, "It's always nice to enrich your life, I guess." And she turned and went away. And
It's really funny.
And but I then eventually I went and stayed with Shane for a week, and then I went back home, and I thought, well, that was great.
Is there any way to show up to New York with anything but nothing? Like that's how everybody shows up to New York, right? Like I went to New York City with nothing but $5.
It's a very classic American story to show up in the world's greatest city with nothing, and then end up becoming a superstar comedian.
It was very scary. I was in LaGuardia, and I just went to the airport in inner Queens. And I just sat at the airport waiting for one of these two people to get back to me with a bed. I was ready to go, I guess, out to, it would have been a Bronx YMCA if no one had come through. But they both came through, and a great time was had. And then I went away, and then I got offered a job in America, and then I got fired. We don't have to go into that. But then after I'd been fired, Shane was like, as you have nothing and you've moved a whole family here, we'll give you a shot opening. And then I started opening for him. But it was really a very, doors kept opening at the last possible moment.
For an Australian, you have a classic American success story, which I think is good. And it's only uphill from here.
It's the land of opportunity, but you have to win. You do have to win. They'll give you an opportunity.
They don't give it to you. They don't give it to you.
It helps that you're very good at comedy. Yeah. I mean, if you were bad at comedy, none of this would have happened, unfortunately.
No.
I can tolerate that I'm not an incompetent very often anymore. But I mean, Australia, it doesn't matter. It really, there are great people who never get a shot and never will. And
there was a commentary. When Ricky Gervais brought The Office to America, one of the first things he mentioned to the new showrunners was like, okay, you guys got to understand, in the UK, and this might be true in Australia, you can have your job for years and be really bad at it, but that's not the case in America. And I was like, yeah, that's true. That's you gotta be good to make it in America.
Well, you can have your job. I would cut it both ways, is that you can have your job for years and be really bad at it, and conversely, you can be really good at your job, and that can lead to nothing in the former colonies. Whereas here, if you do excel, there's enough greed kicking around that someone will, I think, eventually, if you're willing to fashion yourself into a tool for them, people will be happy to use you. You have to conform, and they want you to conform. But Chappell Roan talks about this very beautifully, where she says if you are able not to take care of yourself, you'll have a beautiful career in America. And the interviewer seems to mishear her and go, "If you don't take care of yourself," and she goes, "Yes. If you are exploitable, you have to be ready to be exploited."
I heard a guy in an interview talk about this. He's like, he was in a band. I forget who it was. It was like a musical artist, but he was talking about all these shows and all this success and all this stuff. And he's like, but even he's like, the record labels, the audience, even the band, my band, even it's transactional. And if you can accept those transactional relationships for what they are, they can be beautiful things. Friendships of circumstance are one level of friendship. It's like, that's because if you make that the ultimate thing, when it comes crashing down or when it stops being what it was or giving what it used to, you start to lose all faith in humanity. But if you keep the focus on the real, if you have your family is the highest thing, and if you keep your focus on your family and God, those things are always going to be, no matter what success you have. So you're going to be okay with being a tool or a utility, because you do have utility. There is use.
Well, it's to not make a god of your work.
Yeah.
Your work is the thing you do that allows you to ideally perfect nature in service of God and provide for your family. But this is not how many creative people specifically. I mean, people in all people, non-creative people, certain office people act like their job. We know this. We know that people treat their work as though it were a deity, and
Absolutely.
That's what Sundays are for showing where your real, where do your real loyalties lie.
Mm-hmm.
But it's you got to be ready to be used, I guess.
Do you feel like you've been exploited? Is that what you're trying to say, or do you feel like you've resisted that?
Oh yes, but I'm very happy about it. No, I'm very happy to be exploited.
Yeah,
because I spent the first 15 years of my life as a comedian begging for somebody to exploit me,
please,
and they wouldn't do it. Some people would, and I was just so bad at it that it didn't matter. As a commercial radio breakfast announcer, it was determined that I was too weird, and fine, that's okay. They were not wrong.
But you found your space.
Oh, to be used. Have you read much
used
Hannah Arendt? Have you read Hannah Arendt?
I've got 2 Hannah Arendt books on my shelf, but I'm ashamed to admit I've not picked them up or read them.
I read On Totalitarianism.
Well, great. So let's talk about the start of On Totalitarianism, where she talks about the exploitative ways of the Jews. Because I know you guys love that. I know that's important.
Yes, we're deep enough in that we can start doing this.
Let's be clear. This is not a running theme in our podcast. All right, for any new listeners, this is not. This is happening.
There were signs.
All right.
Sure, it's not. But what she writes that I really, and I'll try and she'll phrase this better than me. And I can be corrected if this is not what she's saying, but she cites the periods in history when waves of anti-Semitism occur. And she says it's not during periods where people feel like they're being exploited by the Jews. The Dreyfus Affair comes after Jewish involvement in the French state. The Nazis come well after the Bismarckian construction that works with the Jewish people. It is... When people feel they're being exploited, they feel there's a compassion. There's to exploit, to extract. What's another word that means exploit? It means to touch. One of them. Anyway, one of the words that sounds like exploit means to touch. But you're in contact with someone that you're exploiting. You're interested in them. It may well be an abusive relationship, but it is a relationship. And that anti-Semitism begins when there's an alien-ish, there's a distinct and separate population in the body politic that is not taking an active role in business or the state, where it starts to feel parasitical because exploitation is not parasitical.
No.
Exploitation is you're extracting value from somebody. You have to touch them. You have to take it. This is quite an intimate thing. And I think now in America, I don't think it's coincidental that at the same time we've seen this anti-Semitic wave currently, a similar thing has happened where you had Hollywood that was very, very... There were a lot of Jewish people involved in the running of Hollywood. I'll say that. You had the music business, and there were quite a number of Jewish people involved in that particular business. You have the
I'm
banking... I'm
not going to say what kind of doctor.
I'm not going to... I'm not going to say. And even banking, which is a running joke about the number of persons of Jewish extraction working in that industry. And with the disruption that has occurred, Hollywood's never been less important since it started. In terms of media and if you want a career in show business, Hollywood's not important. The music business has been totally blown up. Banking is increasingly decentralized, and people feel like they can do the Bitcoin, they can do the whatever, the transactions with each other, and that is the point. Not when people go, Jews are running the world. Well, okay, I don't believe that, but if you do believe that, people will not become anti-Semitic. It's when Jews are visibly not running the world that people become anti-Semitic. I think that now that's not even my point. I don't have an opinion on that, but that's Hannah Arendt.
That's Hannah Arendt's point.
That's Hannah Arendt. Now, Hannah Arendt on busing as a big problem. That's also interesting. I like Hannah Arendt. Oh, she was opposed to busing. She didn't want the schools to be desegregated.
Oh,
I see. I got it.
Now
Okay,
we're on the
yeah,
same
yeah.
page.
For a big
Busing-
lefty, she's coming out of the... Sorry, not bussing it. Not like
I was
in
like,
the club.
yeah. Oh, man.
That's just to have two books side by side on totalitarianism and on busting. Those are her two books.
Busing. Busing.
Bussing.
It's scary how much segregation and anti-Semitism have come up in this podcast. All right,
It's
at
scary
least
how
3 times.
they're coming up in American civil discourse.
Good
true.
point. Good point.
Yes, we move with the times.
When I first heard in 2020 when I first heard people talking about like black spaces and white spaces, I was like, hold on a second, this sounds really like this
I've heard
sounds
this one before.
strange. I've heard this one before, and you have these books written by these guys that are like black people need their own spaces, and it's like a BLM activist going like, yeah, black people need their own spaces. I was like,
Patrick was big into Ibram X. Kendi back in the day.
I read him. All right.
We did some podcasts about anti-racism, and you were
I think
there was some solidarity happening on the podcast. I will say.
What I hoped for, and it didn't happen, was I hoped
A
for
new Wakanda
reconciliation
right here in America.
I hoped for I hoped the conversations. I made the mistake of assuming the conversations were being had in good faith. That's what I'll say.
I mean, we know that racism, as Pope Francis said, racism is a sin, the sin of racism. And can't we all hope to overcome that?
Yeah.
Some of the conversations might have been had in good faith. Not a lot of them. Not a lot.
It was shortly at the end of 2020 and right around 2021 where I started going, oh, okay.
Grift.
Yeah. I was like, I
Very
see.
good.
I see. It was a grift. And it was a shame too. It was a shame, especially because I remember one of the big conversations in like the Catholic world was like, we need to make more spaces for Black Catholics, and I was like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, it was
I was
a weird
like,
time.
I know people in Steubenville. I was like, so I called up the Steubenville conference office, and I was like, hey, what do you guys think about doing like a Black Catholic youth conference? Like that sounds like it'd be a good idea. Yeah. And they were like, oh yeah, the table idea. And I was talking to some people about it, and one of my more left leaning Catholic friends was like, well, I think we need to stop assuming that white people need to solve all the Black people's problems. And I was like, oh, okay, so you just like, I'll just not do anything then. I'll just go about my life. Great.
I have seen the Black Catholic American experience a little bit when I was in Atlanta. I went to a Black Catholic church. The hats were great.
We're on. The Americana. This is the fun thing about American trads is that American trads have adopted like a French Catholic aesthetic. Like mantillas are very French, and if they were American trads, the ladies would all be in hats, and that tradism lives on today in Black Southern Christian culture. They all wear hats. And I'm here for it. I think it looks great. If I'm sitting in row number 2, if there's a lady in front of me, I don't want to even see the priest. That hat's got to be so big.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's very trad indeed that you would want the rood screen erected in proxy by hat. But no, I think that. Did you see Melania's hat?
I did.
Yeah, man.
What's going on with this hat?
All of her hats. She loves a good like UFO saucer hat. I'm about it.
I think it's very modest of a woman to cover her head in the presence of the king.
She looked nuts in that hat. She looked like she was hiding. And then I was reading Vogue magazine today for a reason that I don't remember.
Where do you even get a copy of Vogue magazine?
No, I was doing Vogue online. But Vogue was breaking down Melania's looks for this royal trip.
Sure.
And all they mentioned about that, they didn't say the hat's gone huge on social media because it's the size of, a Golden Corral buffet table. They said, it matched her husband's tie. That was it. That was all. So even Vogue, staple of the, Anna Wintour, progressivism, feminism of a kind, they've gone soft on noticing things about this administration. It's really, I never thought I'd live to see the day.
I think
where Vogue magazine would make fun of a big hat.
Speaking of the royal visit, if you don't mind, I'd like to show
Absolutely,
you my
please.
favorite image that has come out of this visit.
Is it the spaghetti?
Yes. Have you
Dude.
seen this yet?
Yeah, I didn't know if it was real.
I don't think it's real.
I think
but
this has to be edited because I've seen the clip of the king doing his little toast, and Trump is not eating pasta during it.
I think that if the most American thing would be to eat spaghetti while the king of England
That is a good point.
like
I love it. I hope he did do it. If he didn't,
Yes.
I hope he does do it.
I hope he goes back and does it to him.
I'm worried that he's dying.
Yeah, he is kind of
Yeah.
losing his luster a little bit.
His hands are different color. I saw him
Yep.
on 9/11, and half of his face was. People weren't paying attention to it because of the assassination the day before. But is he all right?
If he's not, we won't know until he dies because he will be doing a press conference until the moment he gives up the ghost.
They're going to
He
do
will
the
be-
Biden. They're going to keep him propped up until it is just beyond a shadow of a doubt that he is incapacitated.
Is JD so unlikable that they wouldn't plonk JD in there?
I think the JD hate is largely manufactured. He's one of the most incredibly likable politicians I've ever seen.
Sure, the Palantir stuff.
Yeah.
But the average person doesn't
Peter
know
Thiel.
or care about Palantir.
Yeah.
You
They
know?
will once they're on the database. They're scanning in and
Yeah,
scanning
right.
out.
Yes. The drone is approving them to leave their house to go
But
get
like
a-
you can
the
tell
bread
that's
line.
not going to affect him because they never brought it up in the campaign before. You know,
They did
the
just say
only
he was
stuff-
weird. That's all they've kind
all
of
they
said.
said was he was weird and he went to Yale. That's all they got him on.
And that he had sex with a couch. That's all that
Yeah.
they've got. They've spent all their bullets.
Which was a fabrication, which is a John Oliver and Stephen Colbert fabrication. They just made that
Well,
up.
of course,
I don't
it's
think
a
that was even in the
fabrication.
book.
That's what it's made.
But
out of.
also, it backfired because I mean, I don't know. Every podcast I heard talking about it was the fellas going, "What?" When he was a teenager? I mean, who? That can't be a prerequisite for running for office. Is that you mustn't have done that? It just can't be. You should. You must still be allowed to participate in public life, even if that is the case.
Oh my gosh! No,
That'd be so funny.
they said it was in his book and that it was
It just
that it was
wasn't in his
during
book.
college or something. Yeah, I was like, I read that part and I was like, hold on, I read the book. I feel like I would have remembered that.
I think JD's going to do. I mean, what they'll have to do if they really want to do any damage is bring out just the old school. You married an Indian woman. You know, they're going to have to get racist.
That's not easy for the left. Not easy for the left.
right wing. That's a
I agree with both of you, but they're already turning to do the right's playbook. They're already saying, imagine if the roles were reversed and a right-wing comedian got canceled. They're already doing what the right was doing 5 years ago. So I have no doubt that by the time the election comes around, they're going to be like, he's married to a
it was
brown
ineffective
lady.
5 years ago. The right wing playbook wasn't. So if they want to use the 5-year-old playbook that got Joe Biden elected,
I actually think they might be foolish
Fine.
enough to do that, but who am I to say?
maybe
We'll
it was
see.
a long
I mean,
game.
Zohran Mamdani.
My
daddy.
daddy.
Zohran Mamdani. He's very popular. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah. He needs to just pick up a fork. If he just used a fork, he would be so
not a
much
fork
more
user?
Hot
No,
take, I
he's
think-
eating rice with his hands, and I think that
What?
bothers a lot of people. Yeah.
I think
he
it's only
does
the
it on
right hand.
purpose to seem. I think he does it on purpose to seem foreign and not American. I think
Yeah,
he's
like
doing
when
it on
Vivek
purpose.
did an interview without socks on or something. You know what I'm talking? It's like, what are we
Ridiculous.
doing, guys? Come on.
I
Mamdani.
don't think Mamdani's going to win.
No.
Rice
No, I don't.
hand.
Yeah, check this out.
I didn't know about this.
Yeah. Does this
I
change
don't
your,
know.
does this change
I don't
your
know.
opinion?
I don't know how I feel about that. That
Get
ain't
a-
American.
That's what I'm saying. Welcome to the club, James.
Eats rice with his hand.
Conservatives pounce on Mamdani eating
Oh.
rice with hands.
Get Karl Rove in there to take this man down.
I know we're like almost past it, but I have it.
What do you
All right,
have?
That's
Just a big collage of rice hands.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm not that personally opposed to it, but I think you're not going to get the popular vote for the average New Yorker.
Sorry, I also got him shirtless in a food truck, so
How does he look?
save that one for later.
Well, come on. How's the rig?
You want it? You want the
I
shirtless?
want it.
Pull it
I
up.
must see it.
All right, this is Mamdani shirtless in a food truck. Did you see that video of him going around to all the food trucks and asking them how much falafel was, and then being like, "Now imagine you didn't have to pay for your license." This is him.
Why doesn't he have a? Is that not like a turtleneck?
He can't be that shade.
Grok, enhance.
He can't be that shade, can he?
Yeah, man, dude, he's just a white guy.
Yeah, this is just a guy with an Equinox membership.
That's going to help him. That's going to help him because I didn't realize until that picture that he was
just a white guy.
At very least of the Brahmin class.
He's not Indian.
What?
He's Ugandan. He's Ugandan.
Oh, he was born in Uganda, but his mum and daddy, the mum daddy.
He was born in Uganda. His family's got like a compound in Uganda. They've got like this. They've got like the he got married at this gigantic Ugandan compound that his parents own, and it's like it's hard to become rich in Uganda, and the only way to do it is unsavory.
It's through the intimate act of exploiting someone else, which we've discussed.
That's why they have so much social cohesion in Uganda. Because
exactly.
They're being exploited.
Because they're being exploited, and they like. Actually, if you think about it, they like it.
No, that's so true though. Because it's like, you know, the steel towns, right? Like whatever. Ambridge, Pennsylvania is named because the American Bridge Company made all of its stuff there.
Mm-hmm.
That entire town was employed by one company, and it was like those company towns. It's like you live and die by that company. Like you would do
Bethlehem Steel.
Yeah, like
Hershey, Pennsylvania.
It's like and that was exploitation, but it's like it did. But the problem is that once that benefactor is gone, you start looking for people to blame,
which is where we are now.
I think America's going to be all right.
I think so.
I think
we've survived.
I think now that you've survived you've survived Jimmy Kimmel being on television, and
his terrible reign has ended finally.
People could use a little nuance about that, because you can say at the same time it's wrong for the government to put a television show out of business, and it's also wrong to allow that man to have a television program. I mean, maybe not all evils are equal, but some horrors.
I think it is worse to allow Jimmy Kimmel to continue to speak on TV.
Well, because what they did was they didn't say you cannot have the Jimmy Kimmel show anymore. What they said was, we're going to take your public broadcasting license away if you broadcast the Jimmy Kimmel show on these public channels. So they could have just said, we're going to put it somewhere else. If it was so popular, like no one watches the Jimmy Kimmel show on public broadcast. You know what I mean? They're not.
I've watched it twice.
You've watched it twice.
Yes.
To watch it, did you access it via internet, or did you access it via rabbit ears on your TV?
I stayed up late and I put it on the television.
Wow.
And this is twice that I've attempted to watch late night in America, and once was a repeat because I got the day wrong. I was trying to... Anyway, so I had to watch a repeat episode. It wasn't any good. But the second time, it was the Jimmy Kimmel show, but Jimmy Kimmel had been replaced with Jelly Roll. And it just happened to be a Jelly Roll night. And Jelly Roll sub him in.
Did he kill it? I bet.
People love Jelly. So Jelly Roll just got to go to the Vatican, and no disrespect about that. No disrespect. Jelly Roll seems like a great guy. Good on him. Getting to go to the Vatican. Clips, one. I mean, no malice. He's a Christian. Great. Pusha T getting an invite to the Vatican. I'm a big Pusha T fan. How is Pusha T? You know what I'm saying? Like
I hear you.
He sings about selling cocaine. I love Pusha T. Is that that for me is up there with a Father James Martin type interaction.
Yeah,
it's my intent to bring up Father James Martin on this podcast in every single one of my appearances.
Absolutely, I don't think that's a problem at all.
He's only.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No. It's okay. We talked about him the other day. He's an interesting character. He keeps popping up. Kind of just like Pusha T. Like you think he goes away, and then another feature. You're back.
Father James Martin's dropping again.
Yes. Oh, you've collabed with Bauer. How wonderful, Father James Martin.
24/7, 365. Father James Martin stays on my mind. And God bless him. I've never seen a single thing that Father James Martin has said that's been heretical.
And I think he does it. I think he wants it that way.
Yep.
He is a slick operator, if nothing else.
Smooth operator.
Yes.
Yeah. If you look at them together, you go, but if individually, he's very
careful.
Very.
Just when he has the Pride bottle of vodka on his bookshelf in the background of his photos, do you really start to get a glimpse of the man?
The rainbow was given to us in I was talking to a friend about the post-diluvian covenant, Noah's covenant.
Mm-hmm.
What is that? Why did the world have to be destroyed with the flood? Who are these guys walking around?
We were intermingling with the people that God said don't have sex with these people, and they're like, what if we went and we all had sex with those people?
Were they definitely people? Because in the
they could have been. I'm with you.
Book of Enoch is we probably don't include it for good reasons, but the Ethiopians in their wisdom continue to roll with it, don't they?
Yes, Mamdani.
This is beyond my area, I must say.
No, we're in Apocrypha.
How often when you're hanging out with other comedians, how often do you bring up the Book of Enoch and the Nephilim?
Joe Rogan brought it up to me last week. That's why I'm thinking about it.
I should have said except for Joe.
Joe Rogan was going like, the Nephilim are obviously aliens. It's right there in Enoch. And it's
I did just have a parish small group discussion with a group of men about this the other day. Because we had a group discussion. It was like Wednesday night. We talked about aliens. And they just wanted to, where's the church? Where do we stand? And half the guys were like, we don't care. We don't think aliens are real. And the other half of us were like, they're definitely real. The government talks to them. The Nephilim are aliens. There's lots more going on. It was a lively discussion because there's some people that really believe that it does not matter. And
of course it matters.
Of course it matters. So it's like, well, if I can't know it, if it's beyond what I can know with what I have, it's like, but then you look at the videos. Anyway, it's neither here nor there. But
there is I don't know if you're familiar with this extraordinarily tradical guy who's like whole bent is aliens are demons and they are real. Yeah. And for you to say that there is life on other planets is deeply. What's his name?
Taylor Marshall.
Anyway,
I don't know.
No.
But
it's a weirder guy.
He beefed with us. He got
that guy. I know who you're talking about. Yes.
And I only found out about him because there was a thing on Reddit where he said, I was removed from Matt Fradd's show.
Yes. Yeah.
And I clicked on it. Have we spoken about this?
I think either we have or I remember this playing out on X.
I read his, I didn't read it. I watched it. And it's him complaining for an hour.
And he's got a fedora on. Too.
Yes, he does, and he's going on, and he goes like, "I had cleared a weekend to travel, and they said they took me off," and he's making real hay out of this, and it's like, man, people get taken off of people's podcasts all the time.
James is sitting back here like,
no. I'm just saying. And it's also take it in good grace. Like, it's not easy to have a show. It's not easy to navigate that. You're going to make a whole stink about the weekend didn't work out like you planned. You pussy. You massive. I disregard every one of your opinions because of what excuse me. Feel free to bleep that out. I'm sorry if I've given you editing work.
No.
I'm sorry. Like, as in cat.
You're Australian.
I've been so careful. What a weak spirit on that man. To not take that in his stride.
Yeah, it's bad to burn. I've learned when you're slighted by someone, it's best to just take it and like not make a big deal for fear.
Take
of
it and move on. This guy's trying to, and then the slippery ways in which he tries to cause a scandal, this man, and go like, but I'm shining a light. It's no more complicated than you didn't get to go on the show, and he's got, it's inside baseball, and he's going on and on about how he's like a martyr. And I was really interested in some of his views on aliens before then, but this is an unhinged. Not that an unhinged person can't be correct about aliens. Maybe if I found out about aliens, I'd be unhinged. I always say this about John's prose style in the Apocalypse and the Gospel. Have I said this on the pod before?
No, this is new territory.
All right, but this is like a biblical commentary that people have. Is like, obviously the Greek in the Apocalypse and John's Gospel is it's different prose, so it must be a different author. But if I had seen a sword tongue coming out of a guy's face as he carries 9 lamps, and then I watched everybody cry out for death and death not come to them, I think my prose might shift after witnessing a thing of that magnitude. I think even at the base level of sentences being put together, we might move it around a bit.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, no, good point. I gotta say. I never really considered how because you're used to those images, like, oh yeah, sword, flaming sword, and like
for the
puddles
first
of blood
time
and fire and brimstone. The first guy to ever
you see a seal
it.
on a guy's head. You see seals on people's heads.
A lamb with 7 eyes and 7 horns. It's probably massive in the sky. Yeah. It's like those 3 little shepherd children that Mary said, hey, want to come see hell?
Especially, what, you left off with, this is your mother now. She's going to look after you like the son. Goodbye, everybody. You see him again. He's going, watch out. You've been preaching the good word and the positivity for 50 years. You're on an island, hungry.
Your buddy, you see your buddy from back in the day, and he's got a flaming sword, and his hair is bright white, and he's just shining, also, and he's terrifying.
In the intervening years, all of your close friends have been brutally killed, and you alone have been allowed to live. And you'd be going, I guess things turn out for
and you're
Donnie.
Alone on an island, and then someone
Polycarp nowhere to be found.
No,
I love it. I bet there's a German who's already written that.
I hope The Chosen goes that far. You know what I mean? I hope they follow John all the way to Patmos.
Who did you say you dropped out? The Chosen?
Oh, The Chosen. I hope they go that far and follow John all the way to Patmos. I hope they really solidify his arc.
I'm looking forward to checking out that particular book in my new Julie Reams Bible.
You have an affiliate code that you can promo?
Hold on, 2 Peter is in here? That's not meant to be in here.
What are you talking about? Yeah, it is. Oh man! All right. Well,
what's the Peter that's not meant to be in here?
3 Peter.
Excuse me.
Presumably 3 Peter. I'd imagine. So James,
hey, you guys reckon hell goes forever?
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I'm on board.
That's good.
Yeah.
Why would it stop? I mean, eternal torment seems to imply
eternity
without stopping.
I think Peter 3 calls it into question.
It does.
That's probably why it's not in there.
Not in the good book.
I thought that was Peter 2. I've been saying Peter 2 very confidently.
Oh, James.
That shows how little. Now that I have a Dewey Reams Bible, I won't make that sort of mistake again.
I have heard that.
You can't get this.
Yeah. It's hard to get Dewey Reams. Anyway. Well, James, we're at an hour. I know we told you an hour.
I have a lot of questions we didn't get to. We can go rapid fire. The only question that I want to ask you before we head out, because we got to do the bonus podcast, Patrick. We still have another hour of podcasting we have to do.
Hit me.
What is it going to take for the Bropostles podcast to get the first James Donald Forbes McCann seal of approval.
You ask too much. You ask too much.
That you said I could ask for anything. At the beginning of this podcast, you said ask for anything. Is that too much?
We can talk about it. We got to be very careful with how we roll out the seals. Every seal at the right time. I would say there's a good chance you're getting a seal.
All right.
Now we've got to build momentum with this. We've got to start with things that people already
maybe don't
know
start
about.
with us.
No, but I'm thinking of starting with sunshine.
I see. Okay.
I want to start very fundamental and 10 fundamental ones in a row, and then curveball. Proposal.
Yes. Sun.
Keep going.
Trees.
Dancing. Swimming.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Love making. Podcast.
The Olympics. I hadn't thought about giving love making the seal of approval.
I think it maybe deserves. Well, it depends on. Depends on a few things.
We can work with that.
Yeah.
Love is like a butterfly. Sex is like a butterfly.
Thanks for coming on. It's good to talk to you.
When the time comes.
Yes.
When the time comes for podcasts to start getting seals of approval.
Once we've made it through the fundamental elements.
I'll be good with the Shane Gillis tickets, man. I'm cool.
The Shane Gillis tickets will be nice.
I'll ask. I don't have the power to do it for everybody, but I'll ask very nicely. I don't usually ask, but I'm going to ask.
Let's go.
No,
no.
I can pay for tickets to go see something if I want.
You don't have to. It might be sold out. It's probably sold out.
Yeah.
I see.
He could get you exclusive VIP tickets for the sold out show, Patrick.
They won't do anything, but they'll say VIP on them. What?
Exactly.
Are you closer to Orlando or Davie?
Davie? I actually never heard of Davie. Davie, Florida.
Davie. Fleur. Davie. You don't know Davie?
I don't know Davie. It's in Broward.
It's within Eastern and Broward County.
Broward County. That's Fort Lauderdale. Oh, that's Fort Lauderdale. Orlando.
Yeah.
Orlando.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll have a go.
I'll see you in Oklahoma City, James, in November 5th, I believe. The Oklahoma City show.
I think it's going to be a great year for our basketball team.
Indeed. The
one you chose. That's right.
Yes.
All right, guys. Thanks so much.
God bless you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, James. Good to see you. God bless you.
And we'll stop the recording.